This is breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
Obviously, going into the season, is it something that you're used to and just this is how it is and just kind of deal with it?
Yeah, I think especially at this level, and I thought the same thing at Purdue, but especially at this level, there's going to be competition. I mean, it's the best of the best, and so the coaches and the administration want to bring in the best players possible to try to make the team better, and the best guys are going to play, and so I'm just trying to do my job. Like you said, it's new at this level for me, but it's nothing new in terms of the competition. It's been, even since high school, has been what I've been dealing with and working through, and so that's just part of the game. It's not unique to any one position. That's how it is at every position. Obviously, only one quarterback plays, but it's part of it.
Does that make it easier for you that you've competed for so long, that it's just natural that you know what's going to have to happen to be the guy?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely not used to just being the guy going into the season, and so I definitely think it's probably more foreign for that to happen, just based on the years of me playing football since high school. It'd be more foreign to me being the unquestioned starter rather than competing.
How do you compartmentalize all that and just focusing on what you have to do and not listening to all the noise that's out there?
Just don't read it. Don't look at it. Don't read it. And I'm definitely good to be naive. I think ignorance is definitely bliss, and that's what I'm doing.
Something that Antonio Pierce said he wanted to see you do more of this season is be more vocal. Is that something that have you done that before at Purdue? Has that been in your character before? Or is that something that you kind of are learning how to do at the next level?
I think definitely it depends on your role, and I again, reflecting, definitely could have done a better job of that last season. And it's hard as a rookie. My head was spinning. I was trying to figure it out on the fly. And so there's aspects to playing quarterback more than just throwing the football and running the plays that are called. And so that's definitely something I'm trying to develop and trying to be better at. Also, just being myself. Putting my best foot forward every day, but I think definitely leading by example is important, but as a quarterback I know I have to be vocal. So there's a combination of things I'm definitely working on, like I said, and this offseason was a good time to reflect and work on those things.
What has the conversations been like with new offensive coordinator Luke Getsy?
Yeah, it's been great. Luke's been super open. It was great, obviously, today for the first time to get to hear him talk to the whole offense and address us. And I think a guy who definitely loves football. You can tell the passion is there, the love for the game, the desire for us to be able to succeed on offense and do good things and implement a system that can hopefully help us.
To the extent that you know that offense, do you feel like it'll be drastic or subtle changes from what you did last year?
I think there's similarities to every offense, but I definitely think it's a different offense. There's different really foundational ideologies that are instilled in what they want to do, and so from the ground up I definitely think it's going to be a different approach to just how we see the game, what we're trying to accomplish.
How much have you gotten to know Gardner, and what's that been like?
It's been great. Obviously, I've heard stories about Gardner for a long time and been a big fan of his actually for a long time because of his story and how he got to where he was. And so obviously a guy that, again, just loves football, loves being around the guys. And so it's been fun to, get to grow that relationship. I think being in the quarterback room, it's super important to have good guys around you. And I was super lucky with Jimmy and Brian last year to have two guys that supported me and helped me and also were fun guys to be around. And I definitely feel that with Gardner.
Has he lived up to the stories you've heard so far? And have you had any Gardner Minshew stories of your own yet?
Not yet. It's still been a short time, so not yet. But you ask me probably in just a couple weeks. I'm sure I'll have some.
Didn't necessarily go the way that you wanted to, but how much fun have you had enjoying March Madness's run with your alma mater?
Yeah, that was super enjoyable for me and my wife both. I think my wife is a bigger fan than I am. But yeah, we love watching our basketball team. They did an awesome job this year. Obviously, they had Zach, who's a great player, but a lot of great other players as well. And so it's fun to see those guys compete. And we were able to go to the Final Four last weekend, and that's a memory we'll have forever. So super appreciative of them that they did a great job this year.
You spoke a little bit about your reflections on last season, but or you personally, what was your main takeaway from your experience as a rookie, and how do you take that experience and move it forward and progress into this year? Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think definitely that it's difficult to play in this league, and to have a coaching change, and just I think I was lucky. Obviously at the time it was hard, but lucky to go through a lot of craziness in my first year. And so obviously the NFL is crazy and things are going to happen, but I think definitely the
all the changes that happened in the first year definitely are going to help me for the future. And then just trying to be more grateful, trying to be have more gratitude for the situation I'm in. I think I got a little too narrow-minded last year and just closed off and put too much pressure on myself at times. And rather than taking a step back and being grateful for the opportunity that I get, I wasn't supposed to be here by any means to be in this position. And so to get the opportunity to compete and play is a privilege.
It's been a little while since we've seen you. It looks like you've maybe gotten into the weight room a little bit. And is that the case? And was there anything in particular you wanted to work on from that end of things?
Thank you. I just been trying to. I think it's a never-ending task, just trying to stay healthy, work on my nutrition. I'm setting up a nutrition plan with our dietitian Ricky, and just really on all aspects, trying to use the resources at my availability in the weight room. Our strength coaches do an awesome job in the training room. Dietitian, mental health, everything that's at my fingertips. I want to definitely try to use to try to be the best overall athlete I can be.
Aidan, can you talk a little bit about the importance of Andre James and how much he helps you?
Yeah, Dre is awesome, super laid-back guy, but when you get on the field, he's super intense and wants to win, and he did an awesome job for us last year. Obviously was rewarded for what he did, and we're happy he's here. And just a guy, I think, if you were to ask the other guys, they'd love to be around. Super funny guy. That's just a fun person to have in the huddle in the locker room. And then he was obviously we had our jobs were pretty interconnected last year, handling out a lot of protections in the run game, and so he helped me out a bunch. Took stuff off my plate and tried to help me as much as he could, and definitely appreciate him.
Another guy your jobs gets kind of interconnected with in the backfield was Zamir White, and he had such a big end of the season. How excited are you for him now? It looks like he's going to have probably even more opportunities this year.
Yeah, I think Z, the whole year from the preseason on, we were super excited about. We definitely knew he could be a great player. Obviously, we're going to miss JJ because JJ was an awesome player, an awesome guy. But Zamir, obviously, especially the Christmas Day game against the Chiefs, took advantage of his opportunities. He's a soft-spoken guy, but man, works his butt off. Does things the right way, the hard way, and it'll be super exciting to see what he can do this year with a full off season and definitely ahead of steam and momentum.
All right, thanks, Aidan.
Thanks, guys.
Kind of ended the season last year. It felt like even in the locker room at that last game, it was almost like the beginning of something rather than the end of something. As you pick up now, was there momentum going on, especially after new coaching change, that you guys can build on from last year?
For sure, there's so much to learn and to grow from last year, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a new group of guys. It's going to be 90 unique individuals joining the team with one goal in mind, to win a world championship. And I think we set the tone for that today. At the start of the offseason, a lot of our core group of guys know what they want and are vocal about it and are willing to go out on a limb and say, this is what we want from our teammates, this is what we expect from ourselves. So I'm proud of how we started day one.
The year that you have under the belt with this group and this team in the city, does that give you a little more confidence to be able to be that kind of leader?
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm not coming in learning a new system, trying to learn everybody's name. I know the guys around me. I know the system. So how can I build upon what we started last year?
What's the excitement level for you on the defense, especially with the addition of Christian Wilkins?
I think us as a whole defense, we're at an all-time high in terms of excitement level. Just speaking to the guys in that room, there's so much belief in themselves and each other that we should go out there and be a dominant defense.
Robert, Coach Pierce, he said last year that he mentioned you as the first guy that really started to join Maxx as leading the charge on defense. And then by the end of the year, it was all 11. Do you think you assume even more of a leadership role on the defense and in the locker room this year?
Yeah, without a doubt. Going on year 2 with the organization, guys have shown that they respect me, that they care about my opinion. So it's my opportunity to take young guys under my belt, even older veteran guys that sometimes need a push in the back and give it to them. And I tell those guys, don't be afraid to coach me up. I'm not this perfect player. So if you notice me lacking in any area, get on me. So I'm not above. As a leader, you got to take and give. So I'm excited to see where we go with the guys.
I don't know if you were part of the group, but AP said that there was a group of players that stuck around for most of the offseason. How did that kind of originate? Was it something that was players did, or?
Well, for me, it started from last year, coming in this building, and day one I got signed to be a Raider. I went to work out, and I started my off-season program at that point when I got signed, and saw guys like Maxx and there, Colton Miller, the leaders of the team, showing that they're not too big to come in and work every day in the off-season. So that inspired me to stick around here for the majority of the off-season and to encourage other guys, get in the building. Free meals, free workouts, like you get to be around the boys. So I was really proud of the guys that did stick around and showed that they're putting in that work. I know the guys that went off campus, they still did their work. They're still putting in that work, but it's always good to be around each other. I think it brings about a level of inspiration both to and from. Guys were asking me, what do you get out from this off-season workouts? I say I get inspired by young guys. I love getting chased. Those next guys behind me want my job as bad as I want my job. So how can I keep my job with this team? And just being here inspires me.
There's another young guy, Tyree Wilson, who he didn't have this last year. He was coming off an injury. Now he has been able to devote most of his time to football. Is he one of those young guys that, you guys understand what the potential is there and trying to push him to get there?
Yeah, around this league, I've heard it from many different coaches. The biggest jump in a player's career is often from year 1 to year 2. It's because they get to see a full off season. They get to see what the NFL is all about. They get to see how to take care of their bodies, how to prepare. So we're expecting to see a huge upswing from Tyree. I know he expects to see it in his game as well. And when you get a guy who's very talented and eager and hungry to get out there and work, the only thing is to go up from there. So we're excited to see what contributions he'll make.
Whether it's been minute or maybe none at all, just going from being your linebacker coach to now being the forefront of the organization, your head coach, what differences have you noticed in AP?
AP is who AP is, and he's unapologetically himself. So for him to take over as a head coach and you continue to be so humble and to be who he is as a person, I think is special, because we as players have a very keen eye for telling when a coach is being coach talk or just talking to talk. AP doesn't do that. He speaks from the heart. He lays out a very clear and concise picture of what he wants this offseason to look like, what he expects our team to look like. And as players, we just go about getting his vision to come through to fruition. So I feel like AP is very clear and concise with what he wants, and it's us job as leaders to make sure everybody follows along with the vision.
With it being draft time and you being an undrafted guy, does that still kind of push you and give you a little bit of edge to your workouts and what you do on the field on the daily?
Yeah, I would say the chip on my shoulder has grown to a crack on my shoulder. At this point in my career, you get some recognition, you get some praise, but at the same time, you know that there's so much more out there for you to go take. Young guys inspire me. Seeing how talented the rookie class will be, seeing how talented these young undrafted guys, Kanai, Luke, Bernie, late round draft pick are, and how talented they will be as players, that inspires you to stay on your game. You can't take a step backwards. You got to keep finding ways to improve your game. The moment you look worse than you did the previous season is the fastest way to get out of this league. So I'm looking forward to showing my improvements this coming season.
To somebody whose draft night might not work out the way they hope it will in a week or so?
Yeah, every year I go out on Instagram and put out a little message on draft night. You don't need to be drafted to have long, successful careers in this league. I'm not the only one. There's tons of guys all over the league. AP being an undrafted player who went on to win 2 Super Bowls as a green dot middle linebacker, now a head coach in this NFL. So you look at guys' journeys and you try to pick and learn from those guys' journeys, especially those undrafted players, James Harrison being one of those guys I looked up to. And what does it come down to? It comes down to hard work, execution, getting better every day. So I'm focused on doing that right now.
So, Rob, you kind of alluded to having to get better. Last offseason, you got better in pass coverage. What are some things you're looking to improve on this offseason?
Yeah, for me, football comes down to fluidity. You can see it with the naked eye. An untrained eye can tell fluidity versus non-fluid. And for me, the fluidity of motion speaks to the level of athleticism and preparedness that the player has. So if I could get my game to look crisp and smooth and not taking false steps, being violent on ball carriers, being a good teammate, I always challenge myself, how can I become a better teammate to my players? So there's so many things to work on, and we just try to get 1% better in each one of those areas.
Do you have any opinion on the hip drop rule, and with all those changes being made, how do you think that will propel you to become a
At the end of the day, it's a rule. We've had rules in this game forever. You either learn how to abide by them or you get penalized. At the end of the day, I am somebody who's a big proponent of player safety. So if the stats are true, if people are getting injured at an unnecessarily high rate because of a play that could be stopped, I believe it's good for the game. I am all about the longevity of football as a whole, and I love this game of football, and I want to see it played for 100 years from now on. And yeah, if it's for the betterment of the game, I'm all about it.
Do you have some clarity on what exactly you can't do, like an exact understanding of what's going to be not allowed?
I think there's still some gray in the area, and over the course of OTAs and mini camp and training camp, we'll have so much video recognition of what can and can't be done that we should have a better idea come the start of the season.
Do you want to make it tough, like when you're trying to bring down a ball carrier, of like, oh wait, I can't do this, right? I mean, does it something that enters your mind during the field of play?
It's definitely something that can enter your mind, and at that point, hopefully, it's become so trained into how you play as a player that you're not just going to go out there and make a mindless mistake as falling on somebody's legs. For me, it's all very micro decisions, like you're making decisions every millisecond. And I believe that as an NFL player, you have the ability to make those decisions, yes or no. So it comes down to the discipline, the training, and being able. We'll see how it plays out at the end of the day. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
One of your most memorable moments last year's after that Sunday night game on TV, you announced you and your wife were expecting a child. What's this offseason been like with not only having football but having a big life change to prepare for?
Yeah, my beautiful wife is still pregnant. We got about 8 to 10 more weeks. We just found out the baby was flipped the right way. So the baby girl is ready at any point, but hopefully she'll bake a little bit longer, get nice and strong and fat, and then join us here sometime in June. So.
Getting any advice from Maxx?
Definitely getting a lot of advice from Maxx and so many other girl dads on the team. We just had 4 little babies under the age of 1 swimming in our pool literally 2 days ago. So there's a whole slew of young parents who are doing a great job, and I'm just excited to be one of them here shortly.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
How we doing? Good to see y'all.
Max, it's often said that if you respect the game respects you.
Yep.
And from the scouting combine to Mobile, Alabama, the Senior Bowl, I can't count how many times I heard players and prospects say Maxx Crosby, Maxx Crosby. That's what I'm emulating my game after. What does that make you feel like when you hear that kind of respect given to you?
It's incredible. I got Kobe on me right now. He said, the main thing, about being legendary is inspiring the youth and bringing people along and, showing people the way. And for me, that's always been in the back of my head, is inspiring others. Not only my teammates but other people around the league and coming into the league. But for me, seeing that, it's like the ultimate respect, and I take a lot of pride in that because I talk about it all the time, but I feel like my film alone is different than everybody else in this league. And for me, it's not just about being the best at my position. It's about being the best, period. And it's just like I said, it's the ultimate respect.
I know you've had your routine a few years now where you come into the building pretty much every day in the off season. What was it like to kind of see? AP was saying it was up to like 30 people that joined this off season. Where do you think that came from the team?
I think it's just about AP challenged me early. It's not just about me. Great players. There's a lot of really good players, but the great ones bring others up. And for me, I took that personal. I know guys like Spillane and John Jenkins, other dudes. It helps when you got guys like that coming in because it gives the young guys no other option, but to be here. So we wanted to be here and work together and just continue building what we already started. And I feel like this team has all the potential. We have more than enough talent to go out there and achieve great things, but all that is bullshit unless you go out there and do it yourself. So we got a lot of work to do. It's April, and we're just excited, for what's to come. But all that matters is today, and we'll worry about tomorrow when it gets here.
Max, signing Christian Wilkins, putting him on the interior, you obviously on the edge. What's the potential of this defensive line right now?
Potential is one thing. Action is another. For us, it's about the work. We have a ton of work to do. Me and Christian haven't played a single snap together. We haven't done a single rep together. So at the end of the day, we got a ton of work to do. And I've said it many times. Christian's a great player. I've been watching Christian and seeing his career from afar for a long time. We had the touchdown club in Columbus when we were both like sophomores in college. We went there, met for the first time. We went to the combine together. Clee obviously is really good friends with him as well, so I've known him mutually for a long time. So I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm fired up to get to work with him. He was here today and had a ton of energy, fired up and ready to go. So I know that energy is infectious, and that's something I try to bring. That's something he tries to bring, and we just want to bring everybody with us because at the end of the day, you win and lose games in the trenches. If you got a dominant D-line and O-line, you're going to be in every single game no matter what. So we're banking on that. We take a lot of pride in that, and we're looking forward to being the engine and the generator for this team.
You did watch him in Miami. What stood out to you, in his game?
Yeah, I think the main thing in his career that stood out to me is just the fact that he's gotten better every single year. If you look from a production standpoint, look at his one-on-one pass rushes, his games, everything is consistently getting better. And there's no secret to why he should have got taken care of because of what he's done and how he has continued to ascend, and he's still young. And that's something I really like to look at, especially with upcoming guys. Like, he was written off early too. A lot of people were doubting him, like his first couple of years in this league, and he's continued to, shut up all the doubters. So I respect the shit out of that because I know what that's like, and I know what it takes. So that's something that really stood out to me is just that he's continued to get better and better every single season.
As you look back on last year, how difficult was playing through the injuries that you were playing through and just trying to battle every day?
It was a challenge without a doubt. But that's what comes with this game. I look at myself like a warrior. Like, you're gonna have to kill me to take me off the field. And I tell my coaches that. It sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Like, I don't look at this like a game. This is my life. I put everything into it. I work literally all year round. Ashley right here was like, "Do you ever go on vacation?" Or just asking me in the hallway. But like, I'm here every single day. This shit is not made up. It's not a facade. It's nothing. I talk about what I do every day, and I take a lot of pride in it. So yeah, I was definitely banged up. My knee was an issue, but I was able to play, and I definitely don't want to do that again and go through that, draining it multiple times every week. It was a pain in the ass, and then we made it through. So it was even more motivation. When people were like, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. I was like, no, like, I'm not like everybody else, to be completely honest. And, I just had to keep moving. So recovery and everything, rehab's been incredible. I just did my conditioning test last week and smashed it, and I'm feeling better than I ever have. So it's been an incredible offseason so far.
Despite being as young as you are, you're one of the longest tenured players on the team, been here since 19. Has it been surreal just to kind of think about the journey of being here with the Raiders as long as you have?
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. It puts it into perspective. It's been, I don't know whether my rookie year seems like 20 years ago or 2 days ago. Like, it's crazy to me, being back in Oakland, being in the Coliseum. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like that was in a past life that I, went through that. It's crazy how life is, everything is always on the go, and I'm just staying in the day. So I don't really have time to reflect and look back, but, just to look at it, it's like, damn, I'm already going into year 6. Feels like I was doing these interviews. I seen one of my interviews a couple days ago. Somebody sent it to me, and I had like bleached hair, no beard, looking all type of crazy, no tattoos. I'm like, holy shit, we've come a long way. But yeah, it's been a blessing. It's been a damn journey, and for me, all that matters at the end of the day is winning for this organization. I poured my heart and soul into this, and I'm going to be the best leader and teammate I can be on a daily basis. And being a Raider is something that's special to me. I got real relationships from the owner all the way down to the janitor. And, I'm here every day for a reason. It's like a family. There's not many teams that, operate like we do. And we just got to translate that to winning. And, it's just exciting to get things rolling again.
Along the lines of being a good teammate and leader, Tyree Wilson, he didn't have this benefit last year, coming off an injury, and able to work. How important is this offseason for him, and has it been? Have you been able to check in on him and chart the progress?
Yeah, no doubt. You could ask Tyree. I'm always on him because I want what's best for him. At the end of the day, when you're a rookie, you don't truly know anything. You're just trying to learn and absorb as much information as you possibly can, and put yourself in the best position to succeed. And if you don't have a blueprint, you're lost. And I know, like, when I was young, like, I was literally relying off just playing my ass off and not quitting on anything. You know what I mean? That was my niche. I was like, all right, I'm going to outplay everybody and make plays. And I would just make plays and get sacks just by effort alone. And, a guy like Tyree, like, he's got all the tools and intangibles and everything like that. But for him, it's just about being consistent. It's not just what does that mean, being consistent? It sounds like, cliche bullshit, but at the end of the day, you got to show up every single day and put the work in. And I feel like he's in a good spot right now. He's got a ton of room to grow. He knows that. And you just got to keep showing up, be constantly curious. And if you're like that, you're going to give yourself the best chance to, have success in this league, because everybody's chasing the top dog. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You could do it at a high level for 5 years, like myself, but I know there's more people that want what I want. That's why I work the way I do. I know everybody wants what I have, and I refuse to let that shit go. You know what I mean? So this league is dog eat dog. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm rooting for Tyree. I'm gonna constantly stay on him, and he just got to be consistent and continue falling in love with the process.
Max, when Howie Long says that they'd find a spot for you on their offensive line, him, Lyle Alzado, Piquel, those guys from back in the day. What does that mean to you that they think you would fit in well with those guys back in the day?
Yeah, it's super honoring. It's humbling to say the least. Those guys, that's what I look up to. At the end of the day, those dudes changed the game. They're pioneers in this organization. The guys like Lyle and Howie. The list goes on and on. Those dudes were absolute savages, and they played the game at the highest level. Ted Hendricks, another one, like his wife is like family to me and my wife. Charles Woodson's I can go on and on. George Atkinson's. Those dudes are the ones who set the blueprint. And I constantly am asking them questions. So to hear that from Howie, it's an absolute honor, and it just gives me more inspiration to become the best version of myself. I talk about it all the time. Like, I've seen something, I believe it was Chris Paul or somebody, it was a quote recently, but they were, oh no, it wasn't Chris Paul. I forget who it was. Forgetting off the top of my head, but they asked him, when did he realize he was great? And he said, not till after I was done, because when I was in it, all that mattered was the day-to-day. All that mattered was, how can I get better today? You don't have time to look back and be like, oh shit, I've accomplished all this and blah, 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 blah. Like for me, like when I hear stuff about that, I'm like, oh, that's awesome, but now what's next? I got to keep moving. Because like I said, there's people coming for what I've earned and done on a daily basis, but I know I'm not even close to where I want to be. In reality, I have 52 career sacks. That ain't getting me to where I want to go. You know what I mean? I'm just getting started, and that's what pushes me, as being the best version of myself. Not only proving others wrong, but most importantly, proving the small circle of people that know what I do, right. And that's truly all that matters. And it starts with guys like Howie Long, the dudes that set that standard, and I want to set that standard for the new wave of guys coming in the NFL, and everybody that steps in this building. I want my presence to be felt in all the good ways.
How do you find the balance, Max, in the day-to-day and all the things that you do, from your podcast to the foundation, being a father, training? Like, how do you find that balance that keeps you, even and still managing to push forward?
There really isn't balance in this, in the world that I live in. Right now, I'm obsessed. I do it every single day. I'm here. Just talking about the same thing, but Ashley was like, I think I've seen you every single day. I'm like, yeah. That's what it requires to be at the top and at an elite level consistently. So, yeah, I'm here from 6 to 2, damn near every single day in the off season. That starts in January. I go home, immediately got to be a dad. I recover when I get home. I have the same exact routine every single day. I got businesses I'm involved in. I've got my podcast. I got all this type of stuff, but I have all the time and energy in the world because, number one, I'm sober. None of this shit would be possible if I didn't clean up my life. So at the end of the day, instead of recovering from a long night or going out and doing this and wasting time with friends who really aren't there for me in the end of the day, I got the right people in my life, the greatest tight-knit circle I could possibly ask for, and I chase fucking greatness in every single way of my life, every day. So at the end of the day, that's the only way it's possible. Yes, it is stressful at times, but this is everything I signed up for and more, and I'm only getting started. I love this shit. I get emotional about it, talking about it, because I know what it takes to be here, but there's only a few select people who really get to see it every single day, and literally my wife is the only one who gets to truly see everything I do every day, and my daughter. So I'm setting that standard for her, my future kids, everybody watching. And it goes back to Vinny's first question. Like, people talk about, they want to be like me. I do it for guys like that. I want to reset and change the game. I want to be a legend. I don't want to be a great player. I want to be a legend. And there's only a few of those guys. So that's why I work the way I work.
Max, 10 days until the draft, AP said that he's not just looking for great players, but he's looking for guys who want to be Raiders and can play like Raiders, like yourself.
Yeah.
How would you define that when you look at young guys like that?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I look at the things that require zero talent. Everybody's talented in the NFL. Everyone's got ability. The things that matter to me are dudes that are consistent and they got relentless effort. Dudes that are curious and continuously are looking to find ways to improve. That's the dudes I look at. I don't give a shit if you went to Alaska State Technical Institute or Nebraska or LSU, you know what I mean? None of that matters. At the end of the day, I want dudes who love this shit, and you can't fake it. And Andre Carter said it in our meeting today. He's like, listen, you could say you're all this and this and that, and whatever. He goes, when I turn the film on, you're either a dog or you're not. When people turn my film on, they know exactly what the hell I am. I have no doubt. I could put my film in a middle school, an elementary school, an NFL meeting, a Hall of Fame meeting. They're going to see a dog. And so that's the guys I'm looking for. Guys like Fisk from Florida State. I watch a dude like him. He's a dog. I know he's a dog. There's a few other guys, Latu, I like from UCLA, young kid. Dude's a dog. There's not many of them out there, so that's what I look for when I'm watching film. I don't give a shit if you can rush, got ability, whatever. The first thing I'm looking at is, are they flying to the ball? Not just running to the ball, but flying to the ball, putting their body on the line, and all the rest of the stuff, you clean it up on the way. But I think it just starts with effort and consistency.
What do you think of the Holloway knockout?
Holloway knockout? That was one of the coldest things I've ever seen with my two eyes. unbelievable. Being right there, seeing it in person was like, I mean, I'm like literally was just saying, "Oh my God," for 10 minutes straight. It's like I could not believe that happened. But I'm a huge fan of both of those guys. I got so much respect. I mean, Justin Gaethje's a massive Raider fan. I've had him at games and everything. I met his family. Holloway, I mean, we've talked many times. He just posted a picture of me a couple days ago before the fight. I'm like, shit. Like, I like both of these dudes. I don't know who to root for. But my wife, I mean, even though it pisses me off sometimes, seems to always be right. And she's like a massive Max Holloway fan. She's like, no, I'm telling you, everybody's sleeping, blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, the way he did it was probably one of the most iconic sports memories I've ever had in my life. I mean, you talk about, being a Raider, being different, being a savage. That he literally had the fight already in the bag and said, all right, we got 10 seconds. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to literally swing until somebody drops. He didn't care if it was him or the other guy, but that dude is a different breed. And, like, that's the shit I love watching. I joke about it, but I'm serious. Like, I love violence. Like, I love watching. There's nothing more pure than watching two savages go in there and, like, there's nothing more to it. It's me or you. You know what I mean? That's how I approach my training. That's how I approach football. It's me versus that O-lineman or shit. Y'all are blocking me with 3. It's me versus all 3 of you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about fighting so much. And Holloway is just a prime example of, I don't care. I'm not here to just win. I'm here to put a damn stamp on this and be the baddest dude in the game. And, I mean, he proved it times 10, on Saturday night.
Do you like boxing too, Max? Are you going to watch Saturday's fight with Haney and Garcia?
Absolutely. I'm a huge boxing fan. I don't do a ton of MMA. I do majority of my training, especially with my knee and stuff. And y'all already know, like, I spar and been doing boxing for a few years, but I do boxing majority of the time. This offseason, I've been not sparring, but boxing at least 3-4 times a week. It's been huge with my cardio because I wasn't able to run for, almost 2 months. So I'm a huge boxing fan. Recently, I went and sparred Dominic Cruz about a week ago. Me and him got after it. And we're really swinging on each other and had some fun. I love that shit. And boxing is incredible. I think boxing is one of the most pure art forms in sports. And a guy like Haney versus Garcia, I've been watching the whole build-up and the lead-up to the fight. I have a ton of respect for Devin Haney. I think he's going to go in there and dominate. He's a hell of a fighter. My favorite boxer right now is probably Gervonta. So, in general, I want to see that fight. That's the fight to make. I think Haney's going to go through him, and then eventually, Haney and Gervonta are going to have to meet. So it'll be interesting.
Sorry to go from positive sports memories to bad ones, but a lot of talk about the Chiefs winning on your field in the Super Bowl. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling planted a flag. I know it's been a big talk in Kansas City about doing that on the field. Is that something that was even on your guys' radar? And how much is that going to drive the offseason?
If you're worried about and thinking about the other guys, you're wasting time and energy. At the end of the day, he wouldn't plant a flag in a Raider logo. I guarantee you that. I promise you that. So it is what it is. They play it every year. There's a Super Bowl on somebody else's field. It happened to be our field. Like I said, nobody's playing a flag on our Raider logo. I promise you that. So it is what it is. I love it. Shit. They already know what time it is. I don't have to say anything about the Chargers, about the Chiefs, about the Broncos, about any team, anybody that's going to see us. It starts week 1. They know what type of time I'm on. They know what type of time we're going to be on. So we're going to see. At the end of the day, it's all talk. And, you try to go back and forth and say, oh, we're going to do this. Like, nah, I don't have to say nothing. So we're more than excited. And, yeah, that's. I'll leave that shit for y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all can talk about all that other stuff, but it is what it is.
Max, everyone knows about the physical work that you put in, every day, every year. Can you talk a little bit about how you prepare mentally in the off season going into next year?
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like the mental part of it is even more important than the physical. Like I've said it a million times, but this game has a ton of talented dudes, ton of dudes who can run 4.4s, 4.3s, jump out the roof, lift, do 40 reps on 225. All that shit is irrelevant when it really comes down to it. The mental side of the game is honestly more important. It's what's taken me to the next level, and it's true confidence. It's feeding your brain and building your day-to-day routine to something that's elite of elite. And that's, I always talk about 1% and more is required. And I always say these things, and I put it on every post and I put it out there. And people could think whatever they want or think it's cliche or just talk, but it's what I live. I see it everywhere I go. I put it on the back of my phone. I put it in my mirror. I put it in my cars. I put it everywhere because you have to constantly train your mind for greatness. It doesn't just happen overnight. You got to constantly feed your mind with positive and real, breakdowns of where you're at and where you're going. And, two of the greatest coaches I've ever had, Rich Bisaccia and Rob Marinelli, they always talked about, and they still talk to me about this to this day, about the microscope and the telescope. The microscope's your day-to-day. You're 99% of the time. You're in today. All you're worried about is my workout today, my recovery, what I'm doing, boom, 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 boom. The telescope is where I know I'm going. But at the end of the day, you can't get there without the microscope, being in the day-to-day process and continuously getting better on a daily basis. So you got to keep that in the back of your mind. Like, I know where I want to go. I've said it publicly. I want to be a Hall of Famer. I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to be the best to ever do it, period. And that's my telescope, but the microscope is what's most important. So, yeah, I'm constantly training my mind, not only from mentors that I have in my corner, from former players, former Hall of Famers, Tim Grover's in my corner and Aaron Donald's in my corner. Rob Marinelli is in my corner. Rick Slade in the weight room is in my corner. I got dudes who truly have done it at the highest level in all type of sports and sports and activities in general. So I just try to surround myself with greatness at all times. And a guy like even off the field, Dana White's, Floyd Mayweather's, they're all in my Rolodex of people I talk to. And that's the only people I want to associate is people that are on my same wavelength. I think that's super important and not talked about enough is who you surround yourself with. For me, at the end of the day, if you're my family or whatever, it doesn't matter. All that matters is the people that are truly there for you. You could have a label as, this is my brother, this is my, this is my dad, this is whatever, but if they're not treating you right, then what's the point? You know what I mean? It's just a label. Real family, real blood is being there when times aren't great. You know what I mean? Being there every single day, regardless of what's going on. So that's how my circle is. It's all people that are chasing greatness every single day and have already achieved it, but are still chasing more. And that's who I surround myself with every single day. And that's all that matters to me. And obviously my girls, my wife and my daughter. So you got to be constantly curious and constantly challenging yourself with not only your work ethic and the physical part, but your mind as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
You've been watching Breaking News from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.